America has the best military in the world. I mean, you could just look how Russia is can't take over Ukraine and they could do anything they want to. Niggas got people running out of food over there,
Right.
digging trenches in nuclear power plants. And now, Brandon, what would you do to solve the pandemic during that situation? And you didn't. What would you do?
To survive, I would try to give the smallest amount of money possible, because me as a country, we're in debt. So however amount of money I give out, it's still a loss. Like, so you can't just dump a bunch of money. I know I just said, we should give single mothers more money, but we're fucked up. Like, and we're still that way right now, and we're still trying to recover. So they try to do the bare minimum and try to lead people on with hope and with these stimulus checks, just to try to see if we can float a couple months and get past this pandemic and open up everything, open up the world pretty much, and just see if we can kind of get things back on track. So I don't have a problem with how they did things, because I think they just had to do what they had to do. Just because nothing like this has ever happened, where you have to literally shut down people's jobs and then have them in their homes not working but still buying food and surviving.
And the stimulus, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Damn, this let me control your screen without even ask you. Okay, the stimulus check wasn't really no money, man.
It wasn't. And like I said, I just remember getting 2 checks, and that was supposed to be, I guess, for almost a year's time of being off.
You didn't get 3?
Maybe 3. I can't even remember. But I'm just saying that's not enough to. How do we finesse that into what we did? That lets you know we can get by with less. But we as a country, we're kind of wasteful.
That's the debt right there. A few months ago, when that debt was around like 27, I did the math. Every person in America owned like $81,000 Oh, here it is right here. It's on here. Yeah, debt per citizen. How much it says?
91.
Okay, debt per taxpayer. How much?
242,000.
Now I told you 57% of people didn't pay no taxes. So the people who pays taxes, I'm in that taxpayer bracket.
Okay. Now I see why you say what you say. And you have But so what, like, looking at these numbers, so what do you think ultimately is going to happen? Are we going to get overtaken by another country? Because we do owe other countries, and China. I'm not going to say China and Russia are working together, but
they are working together.
Okay, well, I'm not going to, we can speculate and say that. But
they are working together. That is factual. I do a lot. That's factual information.
Okay, we'll say that China and Russia are working together.
Mm-hmm.
What if, like, our dollar is losing value? So do you see it just going to a point where we need to switch over to something, and we switch over, or I'm not gonna say another country is going to overtake us, but I mean these kind of things can happen.
All right. Do you want the real answer?
Yeah.
America has the best military in the world. I mean, you could just look how Russia can't take over Ukraine and they could do anything they want to. Niggas got people running out of food over there,
right?
Digging trenches in nuclear power plants and dying, getting nuclear exposed. So you see, we thought Russia was big and bad in the military, but they do got nukes. So that's the only thing they got.
Right.
But
so what do you think? Before you go ahead.
So the U.S. has to maintain their strength in the military force to have the world stay on using the American dollar as the world currency.
Okay.
And the reason they do that is because if we ever get in a jam, like we've been jammed up for the last 22 years, they print more money. As you can see, you see how the debt's going up?
Right.
They printing more money to pay past yesterday's debts
Right.
today. And it just keep on happening and happening. And there ain't no way you could get out of here. Well,
Right.
it's only two ways you get out. You got to cut services and you got to pay more in taxes. Per
So do you
citizen's $91,000. Who gonna pay that?
right. So do you think is anything we can do to destroy this? Like, I'm not saying like destroy it like that, but look, we can be printing money and inflation's just gonna happen, right? And it's, I mean, nobody's gonna check us because, like you say, we have the strongest military in the world. So if you wanted to do something, we could stop you with our force.
Well, the a good example when another country tried to stop using U.S. dollars, Gaddafi,
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to get a lot of African countries to come together and get off the U.S. dollars and use oil and gold.
Mm-hmm.
And time he tried to make that little move, Mr. President Barack
Obama.
Hussein Obama killed his ass.
Well, all right,
So
well, go ahead and finish. But I was gonna ask you how you feel about that.
so any country that tries to organize getting off the standard will be dealt with. China and Russia's trying to do it a little bit, but you know what happened when you sleep in the bed with a prostitute?
You're gonna catch something.
You have a good time because you're doing your thing, but at the same time, the enemy's in the bed with you.
Right.
And that's how China is now. China wants to. A lot of countries don't want to. If they get off this U.S. dollar, our country would be fucked up over
Yeah.
here. It'd be messed up.
But with the Gaddafi thing, at the time, it seemed like I didn't hear about what he was doing. The media talked him up as a threat. But then, when you kind of research a little bit, you kind of see what he was trying to do. I'm not saying he wasn't a dictator, X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying it seemed like whenever you dig into a story, it's more than what they told you in the media. Like he was trying to make a power play, and like you say, Obama had him killed, and they was
Supposedly, let's just say
supposedly. Well, just
supposedly.
yeah, they ordered a hit.
Well, they same thing they do with Ukraine over here. They send weapons over there. Talking about
Mhm.
Will Smith is violence. You want to see violence? Then why are we sending millions of dollars of weapons to Ukraine if you ain't talking about this supposed to be I don't promote violence, but you send AKs
Right,
and fucking drones with missiles on them over there.
right.
Here's another thing too you got to worry about, Brandon. Do you see on the screen? Do you see the largest budget item?
Medicaid,
Medicare and Medicaid. What's that? You know what that is?
insurance, basically.
That's government health care for older people or people with like disabilities or unemployment. I was on Medicaid for 2 weeks when I lost my job. So,
But how can we not have these things in order? Like, do you think we got the wrong people in charge of managing our finances as a country, or is it's just nothing we can do?
you got the wrong people in charge, man. Because watch this. Medicaid, people getting older. My parents is on this stuff right here. Your grandparents has probably had this. Social Security right now. You get this when you turn 62 and a half. You could get it early as I think 55, or if you come disabled, that's going to continue to grow. And with all these influx of foreigners and non-citizens, they produce a lot of money over here, but they do not contribute to this.
Right.
Because if you get paid under the table and shit like that, it don't go in this. Now watch this. The defense firm. I am biased. I can't tell you who I work for, but defense firm. You see what happened to Ukraine, right? Now Russia always showed their hand. 2012, they 14, whatever. They went over there 8 years ago. What did Ukraine do to prepare themselves?
Nothing really.
Hey, there you go. So you see, one
That's
thing United States does is we build up the damn military. You come over here, we fuck you up.
right, and that's what I was going to ask you earlier. Like, why, why are they having such a hard time? Like, I remember they were showing all the helicopters flying through and the tanks and all this stuff, and it seemed like it should have been over in one day, the way that the strong arm was with Russia, but that's not the case. So is war more complicated than just having a lot of military vehicles and that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I don't know. Russia was
Because
prepared for the war. They thought they was
right,
prepared, and
right.
then
That's what I said. I
snapping
think
up.
right, right, and that seemed like an older way because like I said, we have drones and stuff now. You don't even have to have people doing all that kind of hand to hand combat or going in like that. You should be able to send a drone. I could, if I'm not saying I'm gonna do this, of course, but because you gotta let people know I have a drone myself. I put a bomb on the drone and I could send it and blow it up. If
Nah,
that's
don't you say don't say on there this damn.
I'm just saying. I do that before I send a person, into a whole house or wherever people are fighting. You know what I mean? It just seems
Let
like they doing the war wrong.
drones they sitting over there.
Or Ukraine? Or are you talking about we're sending over there?
We sitting over there for Ukraine.
Oh. So we're helping Ukraine out with military drones. I didn't know that. So we sending
Drones,
money. We
weapons,
sending money,
aid, money,
drone, everything.
and everything except for boots on the ground.
Well, we sending troops over there too, I thought.
Oh, they only stationed in the NATO
Oh, okay.
territory.
The Switchblade 300, kamikaze drone or loitering munition made by AeroVironment, is a new drone that has been added to America's arsenal. However, according to sources, this suicide drone has been used covertly for years by the US military in targeted killing operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria.
Mm.
The drones are inexpensive at $6,000 each and weighing just 5 pounds, including warhead, can be moved in a backpack and fly at a range of up to 7 miles to hit targets. 300 is designed to kill individuals who can perform image processing on their own, identify the target after matching it with the image stored in it, then autonomous hitting is possible. The killer drone glides too fast to be tracked by the naked eye. The battery-powered robot pops out of its launch tube, spreads its carbon wings and shoots into the sky. This deadly drone is hard to detect on radar, based on facial recognition or other computer magic, hunting down a target it has been programmed to attack. Moments later, an empty pickup truck and exploding in a fireball. Dubbed the kamikaze, the suicide or killer drone. These drones don't fire missiles, they're the missiles. But unlike ordinary missiles, they can circle the target, wait for the ideal moment, and strike with incredible precision. Some experts believe the spread of semi-autonomous weapons will transform ground warfare as much as machine guns. The U.S.
See,
military is
you think that
unlikely to
little
fight like in
explosion was
Iraq or
something, but it's sending
Afghanistan,
shrapnel
if the
all through
enemy
that
has
bitch.
killer drones.
Right.
The lethal and affordable technology can leapfrog traditional defenses to attack infantry troops anywhere on the battlefield. While this ability can help save troop lives, it also can put people in their own homes in grave danger. This allows our fighters to have a battlefield advantage, which cannot be seen, cannot be heard, cannot be said to be forthcoming, and actually achieve certain mission effects precisely, said Wahid Nawabi, CEO of Afghanistan-born AeroVironment.
See, you know they can't show actual video
The
of
explosion, right? You can
this.
tell it's not
Yeah,
real.
and like a real on the scene.